Hey there, everyone. I am Johnny Christ, and you are listening to Drinks with Johnny. Today on the show, I bring you a different kind of guest. Co-creator and owner of the Blackcraft Cult clothing company, Bobby Schubenski, joins the show, and we talk about his journey from a tiny town outside of Pittsburgh to a beautiful home in Newport Coast, California. His love for pro wrestling divas and friendships with Dennis Rodman and much, much more. So enjoy this very interesting episode of Drinks with Johnny. Hey, what's up, everybody? Thanks for checking out another episode of Drinks with Johnny. Today, I have a very special guest, a different kind of guest. You usually have professional wrestlers, musicians, comedian actors. Today, I've got an entrepreneur, co-founder of Blackcraft, Mr. Bobby Schubenski. Thanks for being on the show, man.
Thanks for having me, man. How are you?
I'm doing good, man. Let's get into it, man. So, I mentioned that you were an entrepreneur, and I wanted to kind of ask you about your life. What was the path that brought you to become an entrepreneur? Was there a lot of passions that were taking you in different ways, and at one point you're just like, whatever? And I know you grew up in Pittsburgh. Maybe you could go back to that.
Yeah, dude. Where I grew up on the outside of Pittsburgh, so it's a little small town called Avella, PA. I think my graduating class in high school was 30 kids.
Oh, shit.
And like the only thing we had to do was like go to your local Walmart, right? And you had to drive 40 minutes to get there, right?
Oh, wow. Very small then.
Super small, dude. No red lights, just cows walking through the field. Like, for real. Like, I remember.
I've driven through those kind of places on tour, but like, never
who the fuck lives here? It's
totally.
I live there, right? It was like one of those places, man, where like if it rained heavily, it flooded, right? Like the town would flood. Like it was like that. And growing up there, man, like I always wanted more. I always thought there was more to life, and it's kind of like that movie The Village. You remember the movie The Village? Where
the horror movie. Was that the M. Night Shyamalan one?
Where people just think that that's all there is in life, and then they go outside the woods and like, holy shit, there's a whole other world. That's kind of like where I grew up. I mean, it's an awesome place to grow up, right? The people are amazing and so humble and hardworking people, and it definitely helped make me who I am today for sure. Those ethics, but I always just wanted more in life, man, and I didn't know what more was, and it's pretty crazy sitting here with you because, growing up in this small town, it was very, the culture was very hillbilly. We were on the border of West Virginia, and country music and beer and,
all good things.
I'm not nothing wrong with it, right?
But totally.
I just feel like I didn't relate to it.
Yeah.
And, I remember it's crazy. There was a moment in my life where I don't know if you know this. I mean, Zachy and Matt and those guys know it at this point now, but growing up, I was just looking for something, and I loved music, and I just wanted to be in a band. I felt like that's where, I don't know, so remember Headbangers Ball? It was like around that time I really found music, and there was the first band I ever found in this ballpark. Because, I had the Marilyn Manson and the Rob Zombies and the Ozzy Osbournes, Black Sabbath, Kiss, whatever. But and then I ended up finding a band called 18 Visions.
Oh, yeah.
And that, my friend was like, dude, if you like 18 Visions, like you got to check out Bleeding Through and his band Avenged Sevenfold. And I was like, okay. And I remember checking out Bleeding Through, being like, holy shit, this is insane. Like, and then I remember seeing, I had Avenged Sevenfold, Awaken the Fallen record. And I remember opening it up. And I remember Zachy had the Jack Daniels tee.
Yeah.
And you guys all had, everyone had makeup on. And I was like,
makeup,
holy shit, what
jet
is
black
this?
hair.
Yeah. I was like, that's like what I always wanted to be, because I was a huge Manson fan,
Yeah.
And that music, man, just kind of was like, damn, I want to start a band like 18 Visions, Avenged Sevenfold. This is where I want to be in life, And then, later on in life, when I was graduating high school, 18 Visions actually called me to do merch for them, to be their merch guy.
Yeah.
Through a girl I knew that knew them, and they needed someone, and Mick Morris, at the time.
Oh, I know Meg, yeah.
I was just a young kid, man. I was like 16, 17, and he just liked me and hit it off, and I was like, dude, like, you're one of the biggest reasons why I started playing bass, man. I just think, and like, I was never like this crazy super fan weirdo dude. I was just more like, man, I just respect you, and I want to learn from you, and what is it? And as it kind of, as our relationship, I joined 18 Visions crew, and I was doing merch for them.
That's right. You're doing merch out there with them.
Yeah, excuse me.
In the van days, were they
no,
the
you know what,
best?
dude? I got thrown right. It was pretty funny. I got thrown right on tour bus, and then I came full circle, went back to a band, and then
okay.
with other bands, but I'll get into that. But doing merch for 18 Visions, I was like, man, this is so cool. Like, what a great fucking band, cool dudes, and their merch was so cool. And then like Avenged Sevenfold merch was so cool, Bleeding Through's merch was so cool. I was like, damn, this is like Manson's merch was so cool, you know, like I always wanted to wear like the Antichrist Superstar stuff. And
Yeah.
I was like, man, this is so dope. Like, this is so sick. And at the time, and before that, I was working at Hot Topic, right? So I was kind of always around clothing.
Okay.
And doing merch for 18 Visions, I was like, yo, if I ever could start a clothing brand, but fuck, I don't know how to do that. You know, I'm like 17. I'm like, I don't fucking know. So, as my relationship grew with 18 Visions, you know, they split up as a band, and then I ended up touring with this band called Escape the Fate.
Yeah.
Do you know them?
Yeah, absolutely.
And it's funny now because
We've done some shows with them. I think mostly festivals.
Okay, yeah, like festivals, and then you know now later on, Ronnie Rackey's one of my best friends. But my life is crazy. It's. I don't even know if we have enough time to talk about all the.
We'll see what we can get into.
Weirdness that have has come and people I've looked up to that have become my friends and stuff. But you know, Mick Moore is pretty crazy, dude. You know, I think back to this, he really took me from this small town village and gave me an opportunity to see life, you know. And I remember coming to California, I was being like, holy shit, there's a world out here like this. Wow, this is where I always want to be. And you know, my dream house is in Newport Coast, and I had all these visions and stuff, and I didn't really know how I was gonna get there at the time because I was like 17, 18. I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna get here one day. I'm gonna figure it out. And along the way, though, Mick started a clothing brand called Deathless. I don't know if you remember that or not.
I don't actually. But
so he was.
It sounds vaguely familiar because I remember we did some tours back in the day with 18, and I remember. Yeah, it must have been Mick. There was a couple guys in there that were throwing around ideas about like merch, and they were, you know, telling us like you guys should do merch companies individually and all this kind of stuff. And then later on, we met good Charlotte who was doing that, and
they
like,
did Made, right?
Yeah, they did Made. Yeah. They did a few things too, and that was kind of like, and then. I never really got into it until I was doing this podcast, actually.
Yeah.
But Zachy was the first one in our band that started doing his own
Vengeance University.
Vengeance University.
So cool. So Mick was like, dude, you should do Deathless. You should do this brand with me. And I'm like, okay, what do you want to do? And he had these cool ideas where he was like, basically like spray painting shirts and splattering shirts with paint, and like, you know, he's way ahead of the curve because now that's like the shit that's kind of in, right? That's
cool. Yeah.
Yeah. This is like in 2007, somewhere in that ballpark. But I got to learn a little bit from him, and then I was like, man, one day, like, I want to do my own brand, you know? Because then that kind of fell through the cracks, and, you know, 18 Visions kind of split up, and everyone kind of went their own way, and, you know, tragedy happened, right? And I was like, man, I always want to start my own brand, and I kind of felt like it was, like, in honor of Mick in my head. Like, you know what I mean? Because this guy brought me here, did all these things.
Kind of groomed you, showed you kind of the ropes and everything like that, and then, went too young.
We started Blackcraft in 2012. We had a brand before that failed, and my partner Jim Summers and I, you know, it failed, and you know, it's kind of funny how I met Jim. Even is a crazy story. Like we talked about a little bit on some other interviews and stuff, but like, you know, that dude was married to the keyboard player of Bleeding Through at the time, and I was actually sleeping in Marta. Yeah, I was actually sleeping in Jim's gym. It was Jim, Brandon Chiappetti, Mick Morris.
Whoa.
Marta, the house in Corona Del Mar. I don't know if you ever. I don't know.
I never went to it, but I mean, I knew of the house because I know we were, you know, we still all mutual friends talking. We'd see each other on. We weren't touring so much at that time together. You know, we'd see each other on festivals, but back in the day, I mean, 18 Visions and Bleeding Through kind of took Avenged Sevenfold out before. You know, they were the ones taking us out on the road and stuff. They were
it's crazy how full circle that is, right?
Yeah, it's you know, the world's a weird thing, man.
It is, man, and I met Jim there. This story's pretty crazy, actually, on how Blackcraft really got started.
Yeah, that's what I want to get into.
Dude, so Jim was married to Marta. I'm literally so broke at this point that I'm mixed like, bro, just stay here for a couple days, you know? Because I was working at a tattoo shop back home in Pittsburgh that sold clothes, okay? And they were so cool about letting me tour and all that stuff. So 18 Visions just got done touring. I had a couple days. Mick's like, dude, why don't you crash here for a couple days? And Mick and I were actually starting a band, and we actually had a band. It's called Valentine. Back in the day, we were doing this band.
Oh, awesome!
It was so dope. Idea. It was so cool, right?
But wait, you said he inspired you to play bass before. Were you guys both playing bass in this band?
He was double bass band. No, he was playing guitar. I was playing bass because he really wanted to play guitar because he was like so burnt out on playing bass.
Yeah, totally. I got you.
And he kind of was like, I was like his little brother. So he was like, here, man, you play bass and you play my basses and you use my, you know, it was just so dope.
That's super cool.
It was just so crazy. So while we were trying to get that going, I was working at a tattoo shop in Pittsburgh, and I meet Jim Summers. Right, he's married to Marta at the time. We introduce each other for 2 seconds. You know, he's like, oh, I gotta go to work, whatever. And I'd always be like, man, who is that dude? That dude's such a nice guy. And he's this Australian. He's like, oh, what's up, bloke? How are you? You know, he's always like so loving from day one. Dude was so cool. And Mick was like, oh, that motherfucker works his ass off. That dude works like 3 jobs. He's always grinding. He works at like 2 clothing brands. He's a bouncer at night. The dude never sleeps. I'm like, I can respect that hustle. That's cool.
Yeah, absolute hustle.
So I'm like, what clothing brand does he work for? And at the time it was To Die For.
Okay.
Remember them?
I remember them, yeah.
And then he was working for another brand called Aqua 6.
Okay.
And I was like, never heard of Aqua 6. I knew To Die. I loved To Die For back in the day, because everyone was putting it on,
Yeah.
The OC vibe was putting it on. And
everyone around here was.
I want to wear it. So I go back home to Pittsburgh, right? This is fucking, how far is that from here? 4,000 miles away? 3,000? 3,500 miles? It's on East Coast.
It's on East Coast,
West Coast,
East Coast, West Coast. It's don't ask me geographic questions here. We haven't even started drinking yet.
I know, right. Well, that's why I'm asking them now. So, dude, I fly back to Pittsburgh, okay, go to work, right? And the lady at my shop's like, we're starting to carry clothing now, and we got a shipment in. Do you mind actually, unboxing it, steam it? We're going to hang it here. How do you think it should, whatever. I'm like, yeah, whatever. So I go in the back. I open the box up, and I'm like, Costa Mesa, California. I'm like, fuck, I was just in Corona Del Mar. That's like right up the street.
Yeah.
That's weird. Whatever. Don't really think much of it. So I'm unpacking the box, whatever. And now I'm hanging it, steaming it, just doing my shit, This is some pretty cool stuff. And then I have to make sure that inventory matched up, right? What we ordered, whatever. She's like, okay, did you check the packing slip? I'm like, no. She's like, do it. I'm like, okay. So I go do it. And then you had to sign off on who packed it, right? Like for Blackcraft now, like, if you get an order, someone signs off on
exactly.
who it is.
Yeah.
And I look and it says Jim Summers. I'm like, wait a second.
Yeah.
And this is like back in like
dude.
MySpace days. And I like fucking go back and I'm like, Jim Summers, wait a second. Hold on. I'm like, like fucking type it. I'm like, hold on. I hit up Mick. I'm like, bro, is Jim Summers work at Aqua 6? He's like, yeah, why? I'm like, hold the fuck on. Like, I just left your house. I flew back to Pittsburgh, and a day later, I open up a package, and it's from Jim. So I like connect with him. I'm like, dude, what the hell? Like, I just met you.
Yeah.
He's like, oh yeah, I did pack that, and I'm like, don't you think that's like fucking insane? I'm like tripping
Really,
at this
far
point.
away, yeah.
But like, there would be no, that's just so bizarre. So as time went on, I wanted to start a brand. I didn't know really where to start. I had a vision, had some ideas, had some designers, and I'm like, fuck it. I'm gonna cold call Jim. This guy's got his life together. He's grinding. I'm 22 at the time. I'm sure he's just gonna tell me to fuck off or be very nice, obviously, because you don't have that in him. He's gonna be very nice and be like, oh man, I'm busy, but good luck,
A nice fuck off.
Yeah, but a very nice Australian fuck off, And I call him, and I'm just like, fuck it. I'm gonna cold call him. He knows kind of. He doesn't really know who I am, but we got mutual friends, and we'll see. I'm like, hey, dude, I know you don't know me, but I have this crazy idea for this brand, and I would love to see if you'd be interested and whatever. And he's like, dude, let's meet up. And we met over on like 17th Street at this like donut. I can't think what the hell it's called, but it's like by Del Taco. You know where Del Taco is on 17th?
Yeah, is it
Donut O's or
sure.
Do you know? Okay, let's call it Donut O's.
It's Donut O's, man.
So dude, so we meet there, and I walk in, and I'm like, all right, fuck it. I'm just gonna tell him my vision and ideas and see, and and he looks at me and he goes, I'm all in. And when he said he was all in, I was like, bro, I have nothing right now. I'm at like rock bottom. I have this vision, but like, I think we got to go all in on it. Like, I think we need to live together, whatever it is. And I was like, I have enough money to like, I'm going on another tour, so I'll make some money. I could afford some rent, or I could sleep on couch. I'm couch surfing, whatever. And he's like, I'm all in. I'm
awesome. Like, right away. Not what you were expecting, though.
No. And I'm like, dude, what the fuck? I'm like, dude, this guy like is a little bit older than me. He's got his shit together. Like, he's gonna give all that up to kind of like go all in with this, So I mean, he did it strategically, where he gave his work like 2 weeks notice, and I'm like, oh fuck, we don't even have sales yet. And I'm like, but we just went all in on this, and literally we started it with $100 bill, and our first year in business, it was 1.2 million in sales. Damn. No investors, nobody, just straight. I think like because we were so graphic driven that those designs went viral. You know what I mean? Like, and this is before all the algorithms are all fucked up and you got to pay to play and do all this. It was just like an organic.
So let's get into that a little bit more though. So you say like your graphics were going viral and that kind of thing. Can you explain that a little bit more? Explain like what was that original vision?
Yeah.
And what do you equivocate that first year success?
So from day one, dude, I wanted a brand where like it goes back to like where I grew up, right? I never fit in. And I wanted to create a brand where like people could fit in. It was like a family, whether you're straight or you're gay, you're black, you're Asian, you're white, it don't matter. Like it's just a family, and this brand was, religion. I fucking hate religion so much. And I think if you know of Blackcraft, you know it, and people are like, where does it stem from? I mean, I grew up with my grandma raising me, right? So she raised me, and long story short, we won't go into this too far, but like, I watched her die on top of me inside of a church at her best friend's funeral.
No. Now you have to go a little bit into that.
When I was in fifth grade.
Die on top of you?
She had a heart attack at her best friend's funeral and just died instantly on top of me inside of a church when I was in fifth grade,
Wow. That's
and
at that moment, pretty traumatizing.
It was. And at that moment I was like, man, fuck all this shit, fuck religion, fuck all this. But it was more than that. Like, I just had an intuition, and like, I just could tell, like, this priest at the time was just horrible. As a kid, you don't even know what intuition is or anything. And like, I was like, man, this guy's a horrible guy. I could just feel it. And then later on, years later, he comes out, he's stealing money from the church and doing a lot of fucked up things. And I just felt it as a kid, and I just lost all like faith or touch in that stuff. And, so that's kind of where a lot of this shit came from with Blackcraft, I guess you could say.
Okay.
But to your point, I guess it's so heavy. I guess how do you kind of transition from that? But
that's what we do here.
Yeah. Well, now it's time to bring out the 1942.
That's why we start drinking.
Now it's time to bring out the 1942. No, man. But so when we started this brand, I wanted it. Like I was saying, like whether you're straight, gay, black, white, it don't matter, right? It's just a family, and I wanted to create a community where everyone just was like, we all have this kind of common ground of like, create your own future, believe in yourself. If you feel lost, it's okay. It's okay not to be okay. Like, here's this community. Let's build each other up and kind of do this. And the first shirt that ever went viral for us was "Fuck the Westboro Baptist Church," and
that's awesome.
And where that came from. People are like, "Oh my God, that's terrible that you say that." And it's like, but that shirt went so viral for us because Sandy Hook, the school shootings, when that happened, that church tweeted, "We're so happy your kids died." And like, I'm like 22 at the time, and I'm like, dude, I can't imagine, like, if I had a kid at the time, like I do have a kid now,
now
a little girl
now.
Yeah. I couldn't imagine if someone fucking said that night and that happened to me.
Yeah, when some things are better left unsaid.
100%.
You're like, just don't say something. That's just so ignorant.
Yeah, they were like, God sent the shooter for allowing same-sex marriage, or I forget, some bullshit, right?
Yeah, it's terrible.
And they were all for it. And I was like, wow, fuck this. So we donated, we made a shirt that just "Fuck the Westboro Baptist Church." And we took every single profit and just donated. There was a big GoFundMe, or whatever the thing was at the time.
Whatever it's called.
I think we ended up raising maybe like, I don't quote me on this, maybe 30 grand or some shit. And that was like right when my brand first started.
Yeah. So, you're able to raise that. You're also going like, well, I could use that money.
I saw that. Shit, that's a lot of fucking money. I've never seen that before. That's life-changing money, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So, that was a big thing. And then, it kind of led down to the Lucifer shirt. And then
I believe I still have that one actually.
Yeah. And, the Hell Satan Drink Coffee, just very graphic driven kind of shirts.
Yeah. No, that was always a thing for me on an outsider before we actually got to know each other. I could see that there was like the hatred for church and religion and stuff like that. Maybe even more so to me, from my interpretation, it was more about church and like, maybe even being a little tongue-in-cheek with it, where it's like, maybe it's not all religion. It's just like, you literally can look at any religion and find the ones that are doing it for all the wrong reasons.
Right.
And that's and unfortunately, there could be some good things in the Bible, but there's also a lot of bullshit that people use to interpretate and do horrible things to other people. And that's where it comes in. That's why I always interpreted it as kind of like, a little tongue-in-cheek, a little bit more, something a little bit more on the bone about it, rather than just being, oh, hail Satan.
And it was totally just a way for people to like, think about things, And then, do you know how many messages I've gotten that's like, you've inspired me to create a brand, you've inspired me to do this, or Blackcraft's inspired me to do this or that, and it was really just because I was relying on other people all the time when really I just had to rely on myself and do X, Y, and Z. I don't know, just when I get those messages, dude, it's the coolest fucking thing.
Yeah, that's got to be great.
It's cool.
And speaking of Blackcraft, I think now is a good time to tell you to head over to blackcraftcult.com, because now through November 27th, you can use promo code BCC to receive 40% off your order. It's a Blackcraft Black Friday deal. That's blackcraftcult.com, promo code BCC to receive 40% off your order. Happy shopping. Yeah, so like that goes back to what we originally were talking about was, being an entrepreneur and going for it. And you started this, you said you started this when you were about 22 years old, right?
Yeah, 22. And
your first year showed 1.2 million, you were saying somewhere around there. And then, it just keeps growing from there, right?
Right.
And shit, I could even see just how fast that happened too. Like we were out on the road and hearing about Blackcraft stuff, and one of our other mutual friends, Marvin, was like, "Hey, There's this really, really rad new company. I think this was probably back in 2015. So you had already been a few years in and starting to really profit and stuff. And you're, cool, sent us out some stuff, and we didn't even use the connection that was Bobby with fucking 18V.
Right.
But yeah, it was really funny. But to see all that success, you started out with this, basically a T-shirt company that just has all these, as you said, viral graphics and stuff on it, and kind of causing to stir that way. And now you go to your warehouse, and you've got literally everything that you can imagine you guys can make and have made.
Right.
One of the things I wanted to get from along that ride, though, is you guys started Blackcraft Wrestling. And I wanted to ask about that because I'm a huge wrestling fan.
Yeah.
I've watched some of the stuff, obviously. Very cool. And what was the inspiration for that? What do you remember what year about, or what kind of the first conversations were about that, and why you wanted to even venture into creating a wrestling organization through your merch company?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I grew up loving wrestling, like as a kid, loved it. And then, later on in life, I kind of reconnected to wrestling and found love for it, but more so, all the WWE guys right now are like some of my closest friends.
Yeah.
And they all wear Blackcraft and are all like supportive. And, he did some stuff like Chris Jericho, Seth Rollins, Paige from WWE. The list goes on and on. But it was crazy because, my baby mama was a WWE diva.
Yeah.
And I didn't know who she was,
right?
So I reconnected with wrestling probably back in 2015, probably. Yeah, because it was right before my daughter was born. So my daughter was born in 2016. So I loved WWE growing up. Stone Cold was everything to me. The Undertaker, Kane, all that stuff, right? And then I fell out of it.
You kind of lose touch.
Yeah, I lost touch.
I'm the same way. Really young, you're really into it. Hulkamania's running wild, and then you get, and then you take a little break when you discover girls for the first time,
right?
And then you come back again when Stone Cold's going crazy. And then you gotta create a real life for a minute, and then now that you got money, you're like, the hobby I used to like.
Yeah, now when I watch wrestling, it's like just watching my friends, like they inspire the shit out of me.
Totally,
because these guys work so fucking hard, dude.
Oh, it's insane.
I always text Colby, who is Seth Rollins, I'm like, bro, just randomly, I'm just sitting here and I'm like, bro, fuck, man, I don't know. You inspire the shit out of me. Hope you're having a great day. Like,
that's
just
rad.
I know how hard their bodies work and his diet and everything this guy thinks. And, and then you see why he's one of the top guys. His work ethic is just unbelievable.
Yeah. I couldn't even imagine that. I mean, to be in that shape, you have to give up a lot of booze to do that.
Dude, yeah. I mean, this dude's diet and his work ethic. You know what I mean? I mean, I've watched. Colby, I don't mean to call you out, but I've watched you throw down burgers, fries, mac and cheese. But he's wrestling for an hour and a half, main eventing.
Yeah, totally.
And then he's also lifting for an hour through the day. So he needs that stuff.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He's a professional athlete.
Right, professional athlete, man.
So let me ask you then. Was it when you started to meet some of these guys and befriend these professional wrestlers that then you did Blackcraft, or was Blackcraft first and then they started to come over and see what you were doing?
It was actually like after I kind of did some stuff with Jericho, we did a collaboration tee, and then I saw how well that sold, and then we did a good show. We did a show with Seth Rollins, saw how well that sold, and then Paige's stuff, and I'm like, damn, Blackcraft has a huge wrestling market.
Yeah. There's an obvious crossover happening.
Yeah, and then we had a partner involved in the company, and I always had a vision of American Horror Story is my favorite show. Yeah. So I was like, dude, imagine American Horror Story line, like a storyline, but then there's wrestling and it's horror kind of vibe, and I think there's something there. And Doug Bradley was a character of ours from Hell, Pinhead.
Yeah.
Which was one of my favorites, and I'm just like, well, we got him. This is cool. If we have this preacher character, we had all this laid out, and I just thought it was so good. First show sold out, 800 people showed up, and then the second show was Buffalo, New York. We did the Every Time I Die thing. It was sold out, and then third show we ran Canada, and then everything was going really well. And then for me, I had to pull the reins back on it a little bit, just because right now Blackcraft. And actually, I know we're going to segue into this, but Blackcraft just blew up, right? Because we were in Hot Topic at the time, and dude, it needed so much of my fucking attention to where I couldn't, and I was going through some really dark times with the drama of my life, right, and certain things. When you have a kid, things if that don't work out, you go through some crazy things. But I really had to just pull the reins back and be like, okay. I need to focus on this Hot Topic deal. I need to focus on Blackcraft as a company, right? And then I also need to focus on myself a little bit too, or else I'm going to fucking end up in an early grave, right? Like, the stress levels were so high. So pulled the reins back on a little bit. We still get hit up. People are like, hey man, do a show here, do a show there. So maybe we'll bring it back at some point. But right now I just got to focus on certain things. And while all this was going on, Avenged Sevenfold came along. You know what I mean? Which was like the coolest opportunity. So that kind of, I know we're going to segue into that.
We're going to segue into that in a second. Before we go past some more of this wrestling stuff, because I think that's like another thing that I felt a strong connection with you on and everything. Is you mentioned first one of our mutual friends, Chris Jericho, who, and then Seth Rollins and everything.
Maybe Chris Jericho might be the hardest working guy in the fucking world.
That guy's nonstop. I'll shoot him a text. I'm like, where you at, man? He's like, he's somewhere on a plane on his way to somewhere else.
Filming a TV show, then going to go main event this and do that, and podcast this, book signing this. Yeah,
he's literally, I'm convinced at this point that there's multiple Chris Jerichos. There has to be. There's no way. I can't
see that.
I can't do anything.
I can see
He's got a whole fucking family too.
Fuck. I believe in that shit. So you could convince me that there's like 3 or 4 different Chris Jericho clones. I could believe that.
I mean, there's got to be, right? Yeah. I mean, especially, I could definitely convince you after we open up this bottle. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, that's true.
So, no, the other thing I wanted to talk about wrestling, though, is as you're growing and everything like this, and you're meeting all these people, and you're a rad dude, so obviously people are gravitating towards you too. You mentioned that you were that your baby mama is a WWF diva, WWE. Sorry, I'm showing my
your
age
attitude
there.
era, right?
Yeah, I'm attitude era.
You're showing your age.
How did you two meet? I know that I think I saw that you were on an episode of Total Divas too, or something like that. Like
Unfortunately, it wasn't just one episode, but it was a whole season.
It was a whole season.
It was
okay.
a whole season. Yeah. I think that show sucked fucking 10 years out of my life, right? But I mean, great show, right?
Yeah,
fucking awesome show. I'm just
Can
kidding.
you tell me a little bit about that experience that you had, like with the Divas? Like, so you're into pro wrestling, you're becoming this successful entrepreneur, you're meeting all these people. But then how did, was it, you were just at wrestling events and you start talking to the diva girls too? Or like, how does that interaction happen, I guess?
Fuck, man, this is going to turn into a therapy session, I think. We're going from a podcast to a fucking therapy session, right? Man, we open that bottle, huh?
Yeah,
I'll open it up.
Let's do it now.
There you go.
You continue and I'll open it up.
So, dude, we have a mutual friend, Paige from WWE, Soraya, who has become literally a sister to me, who's literally the coolest girl on planet Earth, and I have so much love for her and respect for her, and literally a sister, like best friend sister, for the rest of when you just have someone in your life that will always be there in your life. She's been there with me through the darkest of times, best of times, whatever. But I actually, holy fuck, that's a big pour.
We're sipping.
Okay, we'll sip.
We'll sip. Shoot this,
well, I'm used to that here. I'm used to that here, shooting this shit. No, man. So we Paige was wearing Blackcraft a lot, and I didn't know who it was. I didn't know who Paige was, right? And some other WWE guys were wearing it. And I didn't know who these people were because, like I said, I fell out of wrestling, right?
For a while, yeah.
So I didn't know who Paige was, and I didn't know who these people were. So as this went on, Paige was wearing it. And I was like, oh, who the hell is this chick? This is cool. She kind of fits our vibe. Who is this? And then I was like, oh, wow, she's like the WWE champ. I'm like, oh, shit, wrestling. I forgot about wrestling.
And how big it is.
Yeah. And then we had a mutual friend. He was a wrestler, Baron Corbin, Tom.
Oh, no, yeah.
He was wearing Blackcraft, right? So me and him were in communication. I would send him some stuff. And he's like, oh, dude, Paige is rocking your stuff. I'm like, bro, tell her to quit buying shit or whatever. I'll just send whatever you guys want, And then we ended up exchanging numbers because she was with a guy that I knew at the time. It was a good mutual friend back in the day. And we actually ended up meeting at a festival through some friends. And she's like, hey, I'll be in San Diego for a WWE show. Like next week, I fly back here next week. We're in San Diego. You should come down to a show. And I would love to pick your brain because I want to do a brand.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm like, okay, fuck it. So then, you say that, when it's a week away, but living in Orange County, going to LA sucks and going to San Diego sucks, right?
Yeah.
So, especially if it's a weekday, traffic.
A lot of people don't understand that. Everyone
understand
I was talking with a hairdresser today from Portland. He's like, I go back to Portland, and everyone's like, oh, how's it like living in? He's outside of Portland, sure. Like, how's it like living in LA? Like all snooty and stuff. He's like, I live in Orange County. He's like, It's the same thing. I'm like, it's really
It's
not.
just not.
It's just not even
it's
kind of the same thing.
It's like living on Mars and living in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
You know, it's like two
totally
different worlds,
different.
man.
Orange County is way laid back.
Totally. So,
Cheers, man.
cheers, man. Appreciate you. Thank
Yeah.
you. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. Thanks for being here.
Yep. We'll take a sip real quick.
It begins.
Cool. 1942 is so fucking good.
It is. That is. I was very excited when you told me that.
That's my
That's
favorite.
what you drink. So.
That's my favorite. So dude, so San Diego, she wants to talk about a brand, and so the day actually comes, and I figured, she's just talk. I won't hear from her. Sure enough, my phone was like, hey, you still down to come to San Diego tonight? Talk. I'm like, fuck. I'm like, yeah, and I'm like trying to use every excuse in a book to not go. I'm like, oh, San Diego, and people that are listening that live in Orange County will know how big of a bitch that is. But if you don't live here, I guess fucking Google Maps Orange County, San Diego at 4:00 Western time. You'll see the traffic.
Yeah,
right?
the traffic is unbelievable. The only way I do that drive now is
2.5 hours, 3 hours,
or something.
Every bit of it, right?
I do the fucking train, man.
Oh, the train's actually
the way
good.
to go.
Yeah. So, I'm like, I'm not going. My friend that was living with me at the time, Yaru, was like, come on, bro, what the fuck else are we going to do today? It's a fucking Thursday, whatever. I don't know what day it was. He's like, let's go. I'm like, man, I don't want to fucking go to San Diego. Come on, man, I'll drive your car. And I'm like, man, what the fuck do you want to go to San Diego? He's always adventurous, So I'm like, all right, fuck it, I'll go. So we go. And she's like, oh, hey, dude, we're at Chipotle. Mia's at Chipotle. And I'm like, we're at Chipotle? Who the fuck is we? You know?
Came all the way here for a Chipotle too, by the way.
Well, which we were meeting first, and then we were going to the event. So whatever, that's fine. And I love Chipotle actually. So she's like, oh yeah, I'll be at Chipotle in a second, but my friend's there. She's another diva. Just go in and say hi. So I walk in, and I see this chick sitting there. I'm like, oh, it must be the other diva. And I was like, damn, fucking. She looks really good. Like, she looks really good. And I'm with my friend, and bro, like when it comes to chicks, like I do the dumbest shit. I say like, I don't know what happens. I think as men, we just do that naturally, right? We do dumb shit, right? Like,
oh yeah.
Like I'll climb fucking Mount Everest for a chick, right? Like you'll do the dumb shit.
Just trying to get attention.
Just trying to get attention and love. Feel that love, right? So here I go to Chipotle. My friend's with me. I'm like, fuck. Paige is in here. I'm nervous as hell. I don't even know who this diva is. I don't even know what's going on. I'm like social, like I'm outgoing, but like when I don't know someone the first time, I'm kind of like feel awkward, Kind of like I actually am like insecure as shit. So like I don't know what's going on. So
which is very surprising, but we'll get to that later.
So fucking I would sit down. She's like, oh hi, I'm Milena. Blah blah. Well, actually, she said her name was Rosa. And I was like, oh hi, and I have no idea who the fuck she is at this point. I have no idea if she's WWE. I just think it's Paige. I don't know. And so Paige introduced herself as Paige, and Milena and Rosa introduced herself as Rosa. I'm like, oh, okay, so Rosa and Paige, that's their names. I'm not.
That's their.
I don't fucking know.
You thought that there was.
I thought that was a real name. I thought that was a real. No, I thought I just.
Yeah, Paige was her real name too.
I didn't fucking know.
Okay,
I don't know what the fuck's going on. I'm just showing up nervous as hell. I'm like, all right.
Gotcha.
So we're sitting there, and Paige still hasn't come back, and I'm like, fuck, where is she? Because like I don't know who this chick is. This chick's really hot. I'm like nervous. I'm like fucking hungry, but I don't want to eat. Like I don't know what to do. So. I'm like listening to this chick talk, and she's going on and on and on about. She's funny, as her personality was so funny and shit. And in my head, I'm like not paying attention to her, which I guess that's what guys do. I guess we don't really pay attention to what chicks are saying a lot of times. We're fucking. We need to be better.
We hear the frequency.
I hear the frequency, but I'm not like it's not like all registering in my head.
Yeah, it's not. We're not quick enough to compute.
Yeah,
especially in our defense, ladies. It's not that we're not intelligent enough to compute. It's that. We're also we're listening with our eyes too. We're taking the whole picture.
I was trying to understand it all. And while she's talking to me, I'm like, man, this chick's really pretty. I'm like, this chick is like so cool and a personality. Like when you sit down, and you just meet someone, you're like, wow. And I'm like, oh wow, this girl's really pretty. And I'm like, okay, whatever. In my head, I'm like having this conversation. She's talking, but in my head, I'm talking.
Yeah,
to myself,
you're thinking about everything that's happening, and what am I supposed to say next?
But I'm not even like I don't even know if it's my turn to talk yet. I'm more so like, man, this chick's pretty. Don't tell her she's pretty. Don't do anything stupid, Bobby.
Yeah.
Like you're just chilling. And out of nowhere, I'm like, hey, you're really pretty. And I was like, oh my, I'm like, and that's not me. I don't do that shit. I'm like, oh, why did I do that? And,
yeah.
And then she started laughing at it and whatever. And then we went to the mall before the WWE show, whatever. So. And then all of a sudden we go to the WWE show and she's like, hey, Seth Rollins wants to meet you. He loves Blackcraft. And I'm like, oh, rad. I would like to meet him too. I know, I know he's born a brand. So that's how Seth and I met. And then that was the week of WrestleMania. So that was like their go home, like house shows. Then they had a Monday Night Raw in LA.
Yeah.
And then there was like another, media week, I guess. And then WrestleMania was that Sunday up in San Fran.
Okay.
So she was here, right? And, she's like, you should come to Monday Night Raw. I was like, yeah, I don't know if my anxiety will let that happen, but I'm like, fuck, I want to see this chick, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
And we went there, and then I actually flew to San Fran to see her for WrestleMania and stuff. And then, dude, we just kind of met and hit it off like crazy. And then, you know, now we have a daughter, right? He'll be 4 in February, which is the coolest thing ever.
Yeah,
and
she's so adorable.
She is, man, and it's so funny because so many people are like, man, your kid's so well behaved, and I'm like, yeah, you know, my parents are around a lot with my daughter, and I see my daughter like once a month. I fly there, I come here, since, you know, we're not together anymore. But my ex does a great job raising my daughter. Like you know, she's a great mother to her, so it's all that matters. You know, it's all that matters.
Yeah,
so,
absolutely.
And we do our best to be civil, to work things out. So yeah, that's
great.
Yeah.
When I met Rosa was at my son's 2nd birthday.
Oh yeah, that's right. She was at your party.
Yeah, so obviously you guys are pretty civil going to the parties together.
Yeah,
so that's good.
Yeah,
that's good.
And I know that if I'm not, she's just gonna whoop my ass, right? She'll put me in a chokehold or she'll beat my ass.
Yeah,
you know? She's a diva, right?
Yeah.
So I you know, I'm always like,
which is what you were attracted to in the first place.
Yeah, because I need a little. You know, of course I can't fucking fall in love with a chick who's like, oh, you're so sweet and nice. No, I need something with little edge.
Yeah, and little edge. Yeah, I could see that about you.
That's why I said this is gonna turn into a therapy session. You know? Cheers, buddy. Fuck, man.
All right, let's keep it. Let's get back to some light stuff then. I wanted to ask you a little bit about the work you're doing on your podcast.
Oh yeah,
and what that's about. Like you, I know we talked a little bit about. I kind of get the idea. But I wanted you to have the opportunity to kind of tell me and the listeners here, like what they could be looking for this podcast and those kind of things.
Yeah, I appreciate the cheap plug, man. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
It'll like ding, you know, could it come up on the screen? Oh, this is just audio, huh?
No, it's just audio, but I could add it in later too. Don't worry.
Well, as long as there's a cheap plug. No, man. So you know what, dude? I always, you know, like our story of how Jim and I started Blackcraft from $100 bill to working together with Avenged Sevenfold, sitting here with you, to Dennis Rodman, to WWE, to fuck, man. I mean, you name it. Like every single person that I've ever have influenced me in some way, I've ended up meeting, or now I end up working with, or end up becoming friends with. You know, and like it's just such a trip. Like I just wanted an outlet to like kind of bring on guests, you know, that could tell their story and let you know people hear, or fans hear them. Like how, like, you know, everyone, you know, it's like the social media thing where like, you know, everyone's just posting their successes. No one's posting their failures, you know?
Yeah, that's very true.
And you don't see anyone's failures, you know, going up.
Well, that's because I don't have any.
No, you definitely don't have any failures at all. But my other guests, you know, that I'll bring on, they definitely have some failures, right, to get to where they're at. And I just want to share that and let people understand that, like, yeah, maybe this dude did sell his company for $500 million, but you know, there was so many years where he had no money in the bank or he got fucked over. Like, you know, Mark Cuban's my biggest inspiration, like of all time, business wise. I think we're from the same town.
I didn't realize that.
I mean, not like from the same super small town, but I lived in an area where he's from. It's just
totally.
You know, and the odds are definitely against you where he was even at, right? And to see what that dude has done and built, and like I read his book, I fucking love his book, you know. And you know, he had a point where he had 80 grand saved up in his business, which is insane. You know, he had 80 grand in a bank account, and he got fucked over from his like accountant who stole all the money. Like literally 80 grand was just gone, and he couldn't do shit about it. And you know, other people would have folded or whatever, but he built this fucking multi-billion-dollar thing. Now he's Shark Tank, owner of the Mavericks or whatever. So I just think that story's so cool. And I was like, and it really inspired me actually. And I was like, dude, imagine if I could, all the Rolodex of great influencers, celebrities, musicians who I'm friends with, if I could bring them on a show and let listeners hear their, you know, the podcast is going to be called Paid the Price. It's like,
awesome.
You're paying the price.
Title.
Everyone's got to, you know, you got to pay the price. I feel like for any amount of success or whatever you consider success, you got to pay the price to get there some way.
Absolutely.
So that's it. And
I really think this is a great idea because you're absolutely right. Through all different walks of life, however you end up successful on any level. I mean, it doesn't have. We're not talking about. We're not all sitting here with hundreds of millions of dollars or anything like that. But you know, we've all tasted our bit of success.
Yeah.
And there's always a story of how you got there.
Absolutely.
And it's always interesting because it's always different. Right. There's no one right way to do it, and by the end of it, you might be able to pick a few from a different few people and put something together that inspires you. Absolutely. So I think that's an incredible idea.
That's the whole point of the podcast, honestly, is like, you know, maybe this guest who I have on, it didn't really resonate and you didn't listen or whatever, but you know, maybe you're into motocross and I have the owner of, you know, one of the largest companies come on. I don't want to give away yet, but I'm going to have him on it.
Ooh. We'll be on the lookout for that one.
Yeah, it's going to be a fucking good one. This guy's a really good close mentor of mine, and literally, arguably, I mean, I don't want to say who it is, but just by saying this, people can guess.
You say, I just go blip, 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 blip.
He built the largest lifestyle brand in motocross, right? So you could just do that.
They could do the math.
They could do the math on that. And, maybe that inspires you or what, so maybe if Dennis Rodman comes on, maybe his story doesn't inspire you or whatever. But, so that's kind of the gist of it, dude. And I just, if I can inspire one person from this or whatever, it'd be cool. It's just fun.
It's cool. And
just
then
fun.
It is fun. You sit back, you chat with some people, and then you get some feedback from people who are listening to. They go on, they subscribe, they hit the view. That's really what you want.
Yeah.
I'm looking all the time up for just this podcast. Like, hey, What are you guys thinking? Who should I get on? Who should I get on? You're on social medias.
Totally.
Looking to see who they would be interested in hearing from, and see if I could get them.
Right.
Can't guarantee anything, but I can try.
For sure.
But another person that you keep mentioning, speaking of people, famous people that we know. You're very, very close friends with Dennis Rodman.
I am.
Yeah. I met Dennis Rodman back in 2008 or 2009 on a gumball rally.
Okay.
Briefly.
Okay.
And
what car was he in? What the fuck car would he have fit in?
I honestly don't remember. I think it would have been. It might have been one of the trucks. Not all of them are fast out there.
Oh, okay.
Everyone thinks of the gumball rally that every single one is out there.
I'm thinking
fast.
like Lambos, Ferraris, and shit.
Obviously, those are out there.
Right.
But not everyone's there to compete for the race or anything like
gotcha.
that.
It's more experience.
It's more of the experience of going from one destination to the other, all in a car.
Right.
Partying at every hotel on the way and club that you can.
Right.
Always trying to find the designated driver, which I never once drove on that. Let's tell you how fun that was for me.
Yeah. Sounds like you leaving my house. Fuck.
Exactly.
So platinum, right?
Yeah. So like I was in the first part of it. I was in a Hummer. I hopped around to a bunch of different cars. I didn't actually have a car of my own. I got invited out by these chicks. We went from L.A. to Miami, and one of the nights, actually I should say one of the mornings, Dennis was out there in the lobby.
Cigar in his hand?
Yeah, and he looked, and like he was just by himself, and he looks over at me, and he's like, "Hey man, what's up?" And I was like, and I was late for the car ride, but I was fucking Dennis Rodman. Hey, what's up, buddy? Give him a high five. And he's like, and then like I just kept walking. I could hear him kind of laughing at me as I walked by.
That's fucking hilarious, dude. That's
so
amazing.
Flash forward all these years later. Speaking of parties and good times, we did a 4th of July episode for this podcast, Drinks with Johnny, and we're all partying at the park next door to my house. And you bring in Dennis Rodman, so it's the first time I've seen him since the gumball rally.
Oh shit! Okay. Oh, so I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I don't even think. Did I even text you? Tell him I think I just showed up with him. Huh?
I mean. If you did, I'd already done an hour hang with Zach when we were drinking.
Yeah.
We were
I saw that episode. Okay, yeah, okay.
So anyway, you bring Dennis back into my world somehow,
yeah.
And then I get to find out that you guys are, in all honesty, seriously good friends. And I just wanted to ask you how that relationship started and what that friendship is to you.
Dude, the relationship started through a mutual friend that knew Dennis for years, and Dennis doesn't trust a lot of people. I mean, that guy's been fucked over constantly because I've never seen someone with that big of a heart ever in my life, like ever. I mean, this dude would fucking give you the last dollar he has, fucking a shirt off. He'll do anything in the world if and I think along the way he got fucked over from a lot of people, right? I mean, as we all do, right?
Yeah.
I think his was just much bigger.
We saw his 30 for 30.
Dude, his 30 for 30 was I actually got to go to the private screening that ESPN put on with him, and he refused to watch it. He would not watch it. So I sat there, dude, and like it fucked me up.
It's brutally honest. Is what I'm getting at.
He's an open book, bro. He's an open fucking book, and So, dude, our friendship kind of started through a mutual friend. And then we found a common ground. I love cigars. He loves cigars. We like kind of go in a lot of the same places. And then I don't know, man. We just fucking clicked, and we became really, really close. We spent fucking last Christmas together. Him and I, my daughter went home, right? She went home,
and so you're out here on the West Coast, kind of by
no
yourself.
family out here, And Dennis, as you saw in 30 for 30, he's trying to get closer to his family again, and he's doing a great job at that. But we were just kind of like, well, it's Christmas. What do you want to do? All right, man, I'll be over your house in 5 minutes. I'll bring cigars. We sat in my house and smoked cigars and watched, highlight reels of him and just talked and bullshitted. And
that's rad.
And the relationship just is fucking awesome, man, because that dude inspires me daily, to just be a better person and to listen. And, when my ex and I, go at it or whatever, he's just like, dude, just fucking stop, man. Like, just make love, not war, man. What are you doing? Like, it's all good. Your kid's involved. Don't be like this. Like, and he's always just trying to he'll find a fucking positive in anything. And actually right now we're actually doing a fashion brand together called Love Ugly. And
that's right. I've seen this on, I've seen this on some social media that you guys have done.
And, dude, and that it's just so cool to like be partners with him on this because, growing up as loving Marilyn Manson and Avenged and the makeup and all this shit, I love basketball, but we didn't have a basketball team in Pittsburgh. Right. Yeah. And I love Kobe. But like Chicago was the closest thing. So like the Bulls and Jordan and shit. And like Rodman to me was the coolest fucking thing ever. I was so interested in this dude.
I think everybody was. I mean, that's why he was an icon in the 90s.
Absolutely, dude. And you look at what he's done, right? And you like, okay, take Fortune 500 companies, they can't even fucking market the way fucking this guy has marketed. And I always say to him, I say, dude, what's funny, man? You take LeBron James, take Michael Jordan, take Steph Curry, take, I don't know off the top of my head, but Kevin Durant, whatever, right? There's no difference between, you and these guys. Maybe some has less rings, some have more, some have different title and different money, whatever. But the difference is, Nike made Michael Jordan, if you think about it. Nike's making LeBron James, if you think about it. Under Armour's making Steph Curry. I mean, like,
to an extent,
not making them, but I'm saying, like, it's giving them a platform to market and grow. You're talking about a dude who hasn't played in the NBA since fucking what? 2000, I don't even know, 3? 2?
Yeah,
I don't know. It's been a minute. Fact check that, but I don't fucking know. But this dude is fucking so relevant. You know what I mean? And then you see his 30 for 30, and I'm just like, wow. Yeah,
again, he's not only was a 90s icon, and a lot of people would say that he went away for a while in the limelight, and then he does one thing, and he's right back in there,
Yeah, totally, man. And he just can market the shit out of himself.
It's just because he's, and I think it's because it's genuine. I think that he just puts himself out there, and people don't get enough credit. And I mean, mass people don't get enough credit for being able to sniff bullshit.
Right.
And if you can sniff some bullshit, you can mask it, and a lot of people can be successful with bullshit. Right. But when you catch someone who is just genuine, just 100% themselves, genuine.
He's genuine
all the time.
Yeah, there's no bullshit.
Yeah.
You get when Dennis shows up here. If Dennis is in a bad mood, he doesn't mask it. It's you get Dennis.
And it's right or wrong too, right? It's like you may not agree with it at all times, but whatever it is, that is 100% what you're going to get. 100% of the time.
Oh, and people
so know that.
He's just so open. He tells people just exactly how it is, And I'm like, damn, dude, you're such an honest guy. It's crazy, man. I'm very thankful to be friends with him and to be now business partners with him and see where this will grow, man. So.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you're close friends with him. I've gotten to know him the last few parties.
Did you come? You came to his birthday party, right?
Oh, I was here.
I think I found you sleeping in my bed.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did.
You fell asleep in my bed, and I said, Johnny. And then I found you on the couch.
Yep, the next morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was a fun explanation for the wife that night.
Yeah. I see. This is just why I stay single now, because I don't want to like make anyone upset. You know what I mean? Because
it's probably the smart move. Smart move.
Yeah, now when I come to your house, I feel like your wife hates me. I'm not sure. Your wife's the sweetest person on planet Earth.
She's.
I'm just fucking around.
I've been with her long enough that it's no longer. It always starts out like, oh, that guy's a bad influence, but then the toll starts to keep coming of this guy is a bad influence. This guy's a bad influence.
Then they start realizing that.
Then I'm the bad influence. Yeah.
But you're really not, though. I'll be honest with you. You're really not.
I just have a lot of fun.
You know how to have a lot of fun, and dude, I don't think you. I mean, shit. Yeah, I guess that's bad if I think you're good. I guess, huh?
Yeah, exactly. All right. So speaking of our friendship and everything like that, we'll get back to there. But knowing you over the last year or so, getting to know you closer over the last year or so, I can say without a shadow of a doubt that you're a man who likes to enjoy the fruits of your labor. Is that correct? Would you agree?
I mean, what do you mean?
Well, you've come from a very, your first $100 in this company and everything like that. Now you're moving forward, and I see as I roll up to your house in the place that you wanted to end up in Newport Coast with a Lamborghini in the driveway, a Bentley on the street. Yeah. I mean, come on, you got to find a better place to put that. By the way,
that's my neighbors. I don't know.
Oh yeah, shut up.
It's not mine.
But you have an affinity for cars and cigars and golf and parties, and all these things cost money. So right. I mean, and so that's enjoying the fruits of your labor.
No, absolutely.
And that's another thing that brings us closer together is the golfs and cigars. And one of the times that we hung out, and I was talking to you about doing my own brand on the side here. Yeah. You took me to a cigar bar that was right outside of your old place. Bastanga. Yeah. Great place. Met some of your really cool friends there. And I just wanted to ask you, like, what's your affinity to cigars, cars, and golf, man?
So, dude, I've always, growing up, goes back to coming from nothing and having the book fair in elementary school, and you'd always get that book with the Lamborghini on it, or the Ferrari or whatever. And to me, I enjoy cars so much, right? Like, I just love cars, and for me, they inspire the shit out of me, like, dude, when I'm having a rough day or a bad day, and, because, life isn't always fucking rainbows and, butterflies over here, right? It's definitely some dark days, right? And there's days where so many ups and downs, and those down days, like, just to be able to, like, hop in the Lambo and fucking cruise PCH and, like, just kind of, like,
clear your mind,
take it all in and be like, wow, man, this is where I'm actually at, and things really aren't that bad. And or when I'm in a good mood and I get in it and it, like, makes me, there's this energy that overcomes me because I've always wanted this car and I love this car. So, like, when I get in it, my energy levels, like, automatically, it just I'm in a better. You know how people go to yoga. Some people got their shit. That's my fucking yoga. That's my zen.
Yeah, it kind of shows you, like, where you have come from and everything like that. It's a memory to remind you that, like, shit's not that bad. Wow, it's been worse, and I'm here. I'm fucking here.
I was sleeping in a van at one point, and now I'm fucking driving the Lambo down PCH and just experience. Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's just to me, cars for me, they're not like, oh wow, look, it's flashy. Look at this fucking thing. It's more of like a. It's like a reminder for me. It's people go yoga, they do this and that. That's my zen. That's where I find my peace, and that's my alone time. And I'll hop in a car and I just go do my thing, blast music, and just kind of zone out.
Yeah, so. That's still gets.
And it kind of leads into cigars, right? I mean, cigars for it's funny with cigars, man. I've met so many people over cigars. Actually, that night that you came out, I've met one of the most high profile attorneys in the fucking world through cigars. Yeah. I actually met Dennis Rodman through cigars. I actually met an unbelievable relationship of business through cigars, Yeah. Just kind of a crazy world. And
it's a crazy world of cigars. Not that we should condone it to the kids or
anything. No. But
it's not the only way to do it, but it happened that way.
No. For me, you know what, dude, working, I feel like I'm on fucking 24 hours in a day. I feel like I'm working 16 of them, 17 of them. And even when I'm sleeping, I think I'm dreaming about shit. And then I'm waking up and having a panic attack.
Oh, always.
And these are things, dude, when you talk about the golf or partying or cigars, like, it's those parties. Well, we gotta let people know it's party not every night.
It's not every night.
Not every night. But
I might get a random call on a Monday that'll be like, "Hey, what are you doing tonight?" And I'm like,
"Well, a Halloween party was
on a Monday night."
A cop showed up, and the cop was so cool. I mean, fucking, if you knew my neighborhood, it's so quiet, and the neighbors definitely don't like me. I don't think at this point, even though I'm nice to them.
Not really sure.
But I think the cop was like, "Okay, man, I'm not even mad at this party because it's a Monday."
Yeah, it's kind of like Anchorman when he comes home and his dog ate a whole wheel of cheese. Yeah, I'm not even mad about that.
Not even mad. The cop was like, "I'm not mad about this, and I'm not even gonna I don't really give a fuck." He's like, "But why the fuck are you throwing a party?" And it was funny because I answered the door in my Michael Myers mask. So at first, I didn't know if it was a real cop. I was like,
"Oh, you thought someone was kind of dressed up?"
"Are you dressed up or you're a real cop?" And he's like, "Hey man, can you take the Michael Myers mask off?" He's like, "No, this is a real cop,
Yeah.
Like, oh shit, all right. And then he was just laughing. He's like, but why on Monday? and the reason why Monday was pretty funny. You know, one of my good buddies plays for the Chargers, and they were off on a Monday, and
that was the other way. Yeah,
we were like, dude, this will be funny as hell. Let's dress up.
I know Mike Williams.
You know,
my friend plays for the NFL. Yeah, I met him. All right.
Okay.
I know you're cooler than me, Bobby, but I've met him too.
You know what's fucked up about Mike, bro? It was like a hard-working kid, 24. You know, fucking years old, one of the top wide receivers, but. This motherfucker got me rooting against the Steelers, man. I'm like, I've become a Chargers fan.
Can't
you
do
know?
that.
I don't know, man.
As cool as he is, I'm not giving up on my Raiders. He's in the division. I can't
the
even
Raiders,
do that.
Man. Fuck the Raiders, dude. Fuck the Raiders.
You're just mad because we actually look like a team again.
Yeah, that's true. But the Chargers are going to win out this season, so it'll be all good.
Anyway. Yeah, that's every Chargers fan's ever said that.
Coach did it before. What did they do last year? They went they lost 4 games and he fucking won out the rest of the shit pretty much. I know it don't matter. Fucking whatever. Anyway, so
I love that conversation, but I
actually don't like that conversation. You know. So, dude, I don't know. Those things are just. I don't know, man. I feel like I deal with so much stress. Steam. I blow off steam.
Yeah, absolutely. Everyone's got to have those. Got to have those things. Whether, you know, like you said, whether it's yoga, whether it's going for a run, it's something. You know. Maybe, you know.
And we do healthy shit in this house, man. So don't make it seem like it's all about fucking cigars.
No, every time I'm over here, I just see fucking cheeseburgers and shit all over the fucking.
Where?
I'm just kidding.
Fuck, I'm vegetarian, man. So that's Brandon's ass.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
But yeah, man, it's just a way to blow off steam and you know,
totally.
golf. I mean, actually, it's kind of funny because this whole Avenge thing all kind of stemmed from golf.
Yeah.
In cigars, in a way.
Yeah, I was gonna ask about that too because like when I met you. It was more after you had already had some rounds of golf with
Zachy.
I believe it was Zachy first.
Yep.
And then
Brian,
and then you guys kind of started hanging out. Then everything started to come together, and we, you know, the first thing was Zachy was saying you should hang out with these guys from Blackcraft. They're like really cool. They're like-minded dudes, and they're like, you know, the younger. They've got great ideas, and they're not stuck in the old world of, you know, how things are done. And I don't think that was a pitch at all. That wasn't it. I don't think at that point we were even talking about getting together and doing the online merch. I think it was just genuinely, it was like a respecting of like these guys have a different way of thinking, and it's obviously successful.
Right.
So let me ask you. Let me pass the torch to you real quick. Then you tell me, what was your first impressions of us since, you know, I mean, we had met briefly many years ago. But when we actually get together and become friends here and start this relationship together, what was your kind of first impressions of everybody, individually, as a whole, however you want to do that?
Well, so there's something that you don't even know about, but I'm an emotional dude, right? Like I mean, people that know me, I know I'm emotional as fuck, and everything I do, bro, is like for the future of my daughter, right? Like I just want her to have what I didn't have growing up, and I want to make sure, you know, obviously you got to understand work ethic, but you know, I want her to like be set up in a position, and everything I'm doing right now, that the sacrifices I make I don't see her daily, you know, it fucking sucks, but they're all sacrifices right now to set her up in a position so her life is just fucking dialed, right?
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
she can do whatever the fuck she wants, and obviously gonna learn work ethic, whatever, right? So I remember we were doing a whiskey company, right? And sorry, I'm jumping back for a second, but it all kind of it comes full circle.
That's what we do here. We're having drinks and we jump around.
So one of the largest distributors in the Midwest, this guy Curtis Reese, is like a diehard fucking Metallica fan, right? And you would never know it looking at this dude, right? I mean, this dude is he's one of the nicest human beings I've ever met in my life, and just so much knowledge in the liquor industry and just his brain and everything. He's got a great wife and beautiful family and kids, and he was living in Wisconsin at the time. Huge Metallica fan, right? He's like, hey, bro. He goes everywhere to see Metallica. Like, he don't give a fuck. He'll fucking fly to the moon tomorrow and go see them if they're playing, right?
They'll probably be the first band.
I could actually see that kind of happening.
Yeah.
Elon Musk
they already did Antarctica. I mean,
oh, shit. I didn't know that.
Yeah, they did Antarctica. Like, fucking, that was a while ago now,
wow.
Actually.
I never knew that. Was there a lot of people?
I think it was like a small amount. I mean, you can't fly a lot of people to Antarctica.
Lives there, like penguins and shit.
Yeah,
like, what?
They did a really cool concert actually where they put headphones on everybody.
Oh, like a silent disco,
like
kind
a silent
of
disco kind of thing, but because you couldn't hear, there's no way they could bring in
Right.
sound and do all that in Antarctica. So they brought that in. It was fucking next level.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
brilliant,
cool.
motherfuckers. Shout out to Metallica.
Fuck yeah, dude. So we go to, he calls me, I was living in Pittsburgh. I was back and forth from Orange County and Pittsburgh, right? He's like, dude, Metallica's playing fucking Baltimore with Avenged Sevenfold. We should go see him or whatever. And I was like, dude, fuck yeah, I'll go, So I hit up Kirk's management and I was like, it was on the Volbeat, I think Volbeat.
Yeah, no. So I'm remembering. So Baltimore, I believe, was
the first show.
It was the first one.
It was the
very first one.
I think there was like a show before.
There was one that we did together when we opened up the Minnesota Vikings stadium together.
And then you guys.
But that wasn't a tour. That was a one-off.
Right.
And then this was the very first to start that whole tour that we did together.
So I'm like, dude, I'd love to go. Fuck yeah. I spend time with Curtis, go see Metallica Avenged. This is so cool, And I didn't know you guys then, right? I didn't know you guys at all. And Kirk's management hooked it up with some tickets, and they gave us like that. I think it was called the Snake Pit at the time. I think it was we had like front row to. It was so cool. And my dude's like fucking tripping out. Like we're like backstage, Metallica's like the guest room or whatever. They had like the bar in there and stuff.
Yeah, the whole setup.
And I was like, dude, I was like really stoked to see fucking you guys, see Metallica. I was like, wow, this is cool. I don't really do shit like this, Like I'm so busy. I'm like, oh, cool. So you guys are just getting ready to go on, and I was like, yo, I really want to go see Avenged. Like, fucking, he's like, yeah, fuck yeah, let's go see him. Totally. So you come out, and you're wearing a Blackcraft tee. You're wearing the Believe in Yourself white t-shirt with like holes in it. Oh, yeah. Right? And fucking Matt was wearing the denim vest. I didn't know you guys. And I'm like looking around, and this fucking stadium's like sold out. You know what I mean? I'm like, yo, and it like just hit me, dude. Like, I got like teary-eyed for a second. I'm like, man, this is like one of the largest rock bands on planet Earth, like supporting my brand that I built from just heart. And like,
that's super cool.
It wasn't paid. We didn't pay you guys to fucking rock it. It's just like, damn, these dudes believe in what I do, but like little do
these just fans of the shirts. Man.
Yeah, but I'm like thinking, I'm like, little do these dudes know that they inspired me, and I'm like, wow, it'd be so cool one day to like fucking meet you, because we were all in Orange County, and I was like, that'd be so cool, but I don't want to bother anyone. It'd be cool to just kind of be like that. So like that was the first like I was like, man, I'm so I remember calling my business partner Jim. I was like, dude, what a fucking unbelievable show from Avenged, Metallica. I was like, but what blew me away more than anything in the world was like, you had this one of the largest bands in the world supporting our brand. I don't know, you guys could have wore anything. You could be paid millions of dollars to wear something, but you know what I mean? Like, but it was, you didn't do that, right? And I was just so appreciative and thankful, and that thought was always in my head. I was like, man, this just tripped me out. So then I had the idea after that show to kind of like be like, man, Vengeance University was cool. Like I was like, man, this shit's cool. I'm like, clearly the dudes like Blackcraft because they've had shit and they rocked it. I'm like, I'm just gonna DM fucking Zachy on Instagram, or I actually because I think he had like the Vengeance University Instagram before his personal. And
he didn't have his personal yet.
So I DM Vengeance University. I didn't know who ran it. I'm just like, yo, like what about a Blackcraft collab? And instantly wrote back like, fuck yeah, what do you want to do? I was like, I have this vision, blah, blah, and Brandon, helped bring it to life. For people listening, Brandon does like a lot of our graphics and does a lot of stuff with you.
Yeah, he does. He's the main editor and director of the show here that we do all the videos for.
He's a super talented kid, and he's like, dude, what if you did something like, what's that? I don't know what kind of vibe that's considered. Like, my brain's not working right now, but like
you've had a couple sips.
Yeah, like a Quentin Tarantino kind of like grindhouse kind of mesh up thing.
Yeah.
Brandon did this killer video, killer shirt, sold extremely well. Zachy was stoked. We paid him on it, and I think he was like, bro, I think like you're like one of the only other brands that's paid me on a collab. You know what I mean? And he was just stoked. And then he's like, I was like, oh, you golf? He's like, yeah, I love golf. And we started golfing, and just getting to know Zachy the first day, I was like, I forgot that this dude's like a rock star. Like, you know what I mean? You just kind of forget it because he's so humble and cool, and you're like, damn, this dude's like literally like one of the largest bands in the world. And like, this dude's so humble and so cool. And I left playing golf with him like such a better person, like that day, like the first day I left, and I was like, man, wow, I just want to be better. Like I just want to do better and learn more. And like, not that I don't think I have an ego, but like just how he was just so open to things. And, I don't know, he was so fucking humble and cool that it really inspired me.
It's good to be open at all times.
Yeah, totally, man. And then we golfed again, and Zachy's a smart motherfucker, man. That dude is like very strategic and very, very, very smart. Like some of his ideas, like I'm like, damn, dude, that's a really fucking genius idea. Or just how he wants to execute things and how he wants to do them. I'm like, damn, that's really good.
He's very, very strategic. You nailed it.
Very strategic guy. And I'm now, considered Zachy like a really super close friend, like pretty much everyone in the band, right? I think the only guy I really don't know is Brooke. I mean, I've got to know Brooks, but I haven't spent a lot of time with Brooks, right?
Totally.
But everybody else, it was a trip. I mean, then I got to meet Brian, right? And we golfed with Brian, and I'm like, fuck, man, these dudes are so humble and cool. Like, what the fuck? They're so cool. Not that I didn't think otherwise, but it's just...
No, you just never know.
I just don't know.
Yeah.
And I'm like, wow, what a cool opportunity. And then we went to go play golf with Matt. And I'm like, okay, Matt fucking takes golf really serious. And he's fucking
very
good.
serious.
Very great golfer.
He's taking everything seriously when it comes to athleticism. Like,
and he's such a great golfer, right?
Yeah, totally.
And then I got to meet Matt, and then we all became really close friends. And just my favorite part about this is like I love learning, like I have my ears open, mouth closed, and I like to just like listen to your ideas or Johnny or Matt's ideas and Brian's ideas or Zach, whoever has an idea, and like just learn and grow. And I'm like, dude, like, and then you take a step back, right? And you're like, dude, these guys have created something from Huntington Beach, right? Living in a van, touring, no fucking money, and then these guys have created something that's gonna live on much longer than them. You know what I mean? Like this, this is going to live on as a fucking icon. It's like a modern day Metallica. I say it all the time.
Nice,
I'm like, it's like a modern day Metallica. That
means a lot.
Right?
That's what you go for. But
I to me, it's just like, wow, this is Metallica of like our generation. Like,
it's not like we set out to be Metallica. But
no, not at all.
Yeah,
but
totally.
I'm just saying, like the legacy of.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of the many, but one of the strongest examples and inspirations we've had. Absolutely.
It's yeah. You don't sound like Metallica. I'm just saying, like, just the icon. Like, it's just fucking crazy. So it definitely tripped me out because you guys weren't. Not that I didn't know what you guys. You know what? To be honest with you, I was just having this conversation earlier today. You can see why people are at where they're at in their life of success or fame or money or whatever it is, and 9 times out of 10, people with the really shitty attitudes, bad egos, all that shit, they're not doing shit with their life, Yeah. It's always like they're about to break through, but they never really break through, I think, and I think those things hold them back. And then you get around, like, I think I say this to Jim, my partner, all the time. I'm like, dude, I see why Avenged Sevenfold's so big. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, dude, their attitudes and their egos and just how they are as humans and the way they treat people, you could see why they're so successful. Yeah, it's a recipe for success,
We've always grown up. We grew up in a punk rock world doing Warped Tours and stuff, and that ego gets checked right away if you want to be around that, and we did. And and then not only that, you keep going. I mean, we're all best friends. We knew each other before any of us were shit. So like, someone starts to get a big head in the bus, everyone just kind of laughs at them, and then they get it, and then they kind of go, "Ah, shit, yeah, you're right."
Check the ego at the door, right?
Exactly.
It's a trip, man. It is a trip seeing what you guys have built too. Like I take a step back on that every day, like kind of transitioning into the whole merch thing that we're doing now, right? Together. Like to be a part of that and like, you guys made a band agreement to be like, okay, well, you guys took it back to your hands.
Yeah.
But we're going to trust Blackcraft guys and let's see what they can do.
Yeah. I mean, as you said, it started with a mutual respect and then became a friendship. And then, we were, in the middle of trying to do things different. I mean, everything's changing in the industry from music to merch to touring, everything. It's a great time because there's a lot of opportunity out there. You just have to be ready to adapt. You have to be, and you have to be forward thinking and just open, open, just be open. And as I said before, one of the things that came with our mutual respect was meeting you and seeing what you were able to do and your ideas that were so vastly different than most of the other companies we were dealing with at the time or anything like that. So it was just like, just breath of fresh air to hear these new ideas of how, really bring it back to the fans in a great way. They can trust in the fact that we're, way more hands-on than we've been in years on this stuff,
Yeah, and when I first, because Zachy was my point of contact, right? First off, I was like, dude, this is what didn't work for Blackcraft, so let's avoid these things. Here's some things that, we hit doubles on. I think this would be cool. Here's a fucking grand slam. Let's try it. Let's just try this, because
it works with our fans too, right?
Totally. And I don't think that my favorite thing about working with Avenge is like what I love about you guys more than anything is like nothing's a cash grab. I fucking love that.
We've never been.
You guys put shit, and that's why you're so successful. You guys put so much heart and soul behind things that you do that it doesn't ever come across like trying to sell your fans shit or push. You know what I mean? Like it's very like it's just done fucking with a lot of class and it's done good. And and that's even like when I was telling him, I'm like, what? your past merch company was doing or whatever. I don't think it was bad. I just think they have so many moving pieces that's hard to give their attention to one band or one artist or whatever. So it's
also just the way of thinking, before.
Well, totally. And you know what, you're right. The company that you had before, they built their business model based upon something else as opposed to a merch company, if you really think about it, right? So with us, I'm like, man, our fashion brand, Blackcraft, we got from point A to point B by doing X, Y, and Z, right? And I'm like, okay, wow, Avenged has never done any of this. Like you guys, put out, I'm like, the merch bundle with the CD. I'm like, okay, that's kind of dinosaur, I think, going into 2020. That's so fucking dinosaur. Totally. What about boxes themed, or X, Y, and Z? And then, dude, I think, our first fucking month, I think we pretty much beat, right? It just
right out the gate. You could tell that the fans were excited about this
better quality shit,
better look.
Right.
The everything about it showing them that, we are caring,
right.
And like, this is directly back to us,
right.
This is us and the guys at Blackcraft. It's very much a marriage of the two. It's not, we didn't just come to you and go, here, you guys do what you're going to do with it.
Right.
Now it was like, we're going to collab on this and get this right.
If every relationship could be like this, like in your love life, in my love life, I'd actually maybe get married.
I think,
I would actually think about getting married in the future.
Yeah.
If relationships really were like this.
If you do, I will take credit for that we gave you a relationship that was that kind of brought you back.
Well, it's kind of fucked for girls now, right? Because I'm like, I know my relationship with Avenged Sevenfold. You don't treat me like this. Your ego's not checked at the door, so never mind. Fuck, man. It is great though.
So, lastly, I just want to ask, like, for a lot of the listeners who probably live under a rock and don't really know where to find more Bobby Schubenski and Blackcraft, where should they be looking? What's coming down the horizon for Blackcraft and everything like that?
Dude, so blackcraftcult.com is our, it's where we do most of our businesses online. We're sold at Hot Topic. We're sold at 700 stores there. Another big wholesale account for us is Newberry Comics. Have you heard of them?
No, I haven't.
Dude,
actually.
They're fucking awesome. They do such a great job. They're
Newberry Comics. Okay.
Newberry Comics. I don't know. I think they started in Boston. I might fuck that up, but great company, dude. They've been with us for a couple of years now. They've been great.
Rad.
A lot of different tattoo studios or store. It's
pretty much everywhere.
It's fucking crazy at this point.
Yeah.
Man. It's a trip.
And your personal stuff, like Bobby Schubenski, just Bobby Schubenski on Instagram. Do you have Twitter?
That's it,
or anything?
man. No, I don't have Twitter. Just Instagram.
You like to have fun. I follow Bobby on Instagram. He has fun, man. The Halloween stuff that you put out with the Mike Myers mask. That's worth just going even and checking out.
It's worth check it out. It's worth check it out. And then, I'm gonna promote the podcast through that.
That's gonna be really cool. Do you have any timeline for that podcast to come out yet?
I think you sped it up for me. I kind of.
You're welcome.
I have some episodes already done. Right. I just didn't want to be filming them on a fly. I don't really know yet. So once you and I kind of talk about when this is going to drop, then I'm going to kind of plan it all through that. So,
okay, cool, man, cool. So anyways, go check out blackcraftcult.com. Thanks again, Bobby. Cheers, brother.
Dude, appreciate
this
you, man.
This has been super fun hang.
Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Means a lot.
And we'll catch you guys next time. Cheers. That'll wrap up another episode of Drinks with Johnny. Thanks for listening, and remember to hit the subscribe button, leave a review. Love to hear from you. And for more Drinks with Johnny, head over to drinkswithjohnny.com for merchandise and the archive of all the episodes. Next time on the show, bass player for Ozzy Osbourne, Blasco, joins the show, and we get into his career and much, much more. So don't miss that one. And as always, till next time, cheers.